Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. And in this video, we're going to talk about something that's very important in a lot of fantasy role-playing games. And that's magic. And we're going to take a look at a book that I've taken a look at before, but we're going to do something different with it. What we're going to look at is the Tome of Mighty Magic. And I've done a video on this book before, so if you're interested, you can look at the statistics for it there. But as you can see, my book got something spilled on it a long time ago without me knowing, so it's kind of damaged. But in this book, there are some alternate spells that you can add to your fantasy role-playing game. And back when it came out, it would have been basically a third-party book for Dungeons and Dragons. And nowadays, if you got this book, you could use it for any of your OSRs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a little about the first few levels of spells in this book. And weirdly, it goes up to 20th level spells. Not sure what game you would run that has 20th level spells, but this book has them if you need them. And there are some weird ones in this spell, and some useless ones. I think a lot of the spells in this book, if I used, I'd have to switch things around a little bit, like their levels, what level of spell it is. But anyway, let's take a look. And we'll start with first level spells. And under the first level spells, you have Alteration. This spell will adjust the size of one piece of non-magical clothing to fit the wearer. It will not, however, increase or decrease the size of a piece of clothing by more than 50%. So, that's cool. There is Avoid Solicitation. Very useful. If annoyed and bothered by solicitors, the spellcaster may use this enchantment to cause them to leave their present target. The caster may then direct the solicitor towards another being within his line of sight. That could be cool. There's Crate. With the casting of this spell, a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot wooden crate appears within 10 feet of the spellcaster. Said crate lasts until dispelled. Then there's Easy Catch. Easy Catch places a charm on the spellcaster's fish hook. When the hook is lowered into the water, it will attract the biggest and best fish within the area of effect, not to exceed 25 pounds. A catch will be made every other round. So if you're a fisherman, that could work out really good for you. Continuing the first level spells, there is Fire Darts. This spell will cause one fire dart to be projected from the spellcaster's fingertips for every level that the caster has obtained. The dart resembles a small flame and does 1 point of damage. It will hit and ignite any flammable object that it is aimed at. Then there is Map It. Map It allows the spellcaster to travel at normal speed through a dungeon without being forced to slow down to map. A map of the area the caster is walking through appears upon a specially prepared scroll in the caster's possession. This covers all of the wall that the caster sees, including illusions, material component, fine. That could be helpful. Then there is Mirror. This spell will crystallize the outer layer of any solid surface, causing it to reflect light. Note that this would be effective in reflecting gaze weapons. And if your character is interested in cooking, there is Seasoning. Seasoning allows the spellcaster to alter the flavor of food. Thus, an old crispy fried troll's foot can be made to taste like a gourmet dinner. I think I'd make that a 0 level cantrip, but it's first level here. Your choice may vary. Then there is Stone of Detection. When cast upon a stone, maximum 2 pounds in weight, the enchanted stone will glow whenever a living being comes within 10 by 10 feet area it was taken from. The more powerful the creature, the brighter the stone glows. That can be helpful. And then the last first level spell they have in here is White Tornado. This spell removes all foreign matter from the recipient's clothing and possessions. It does not repair damaged items. So if you're really meticulous about how you look, you can clean yourself with this spell. Now we get into the second level spells. And there is Allengate Arch. By using this spell, the spellcaster may create an invisible arch. Any creature passing through this arch, which are friendly to the caster, will be unaffected. However, creatures hostile to the caster will be drained of their hostility upon passing through the magical arch. If the arch is crossed under for a second time, the creature is returned to its former state of mind. Then there is Cold Snap. Upon casting this spell, the caster releases a cone of frost from his hand. This cone is 30 feet long and 20 feet wide at its end. The frost does 2 points of damage per level of the spellcaster to all within the area of effect. If those in the area make their personal saving throw, they take 1/2 damage. So there are some spells in this that do co-align with spells that were found in the core books. Then there is a very useful one for those who like to drink. It's called Cure Nausea, and it is reversible. This spell cures mild illnesses, i.e. nausea, stomach aches, viruses, etc. The reverse also requires a touch, but does not require a material component. Cause nausea inflicts one of the following ailments, causing the victim to suffer a -1 on attack dice. Note that this spell does not prevent the recipient from suffering the ailments in the future, and that caused ailments, blah blah blah. Basically, you make people sick or make them better. Then you have a spell called Flower Power. Flower Power is a beautification spell, especially good for landscaping, castles, shrines, etc. At the spellcaster's touch, flowers bloom and profession from the plot of the ground of 10 feet by 10 feet. So, you can make flowers. Then there is Follow the Trail. When this spell is cast, a trail of 10 feet, 10 inches in front of the caster will glow dimly. This will work for normal trails or roads and will allow a party to follow said trail in bad weather and or at night. Then there is Locate Water. This spell will let the location of all natural water within a 1 mile radius become known to the caster. So if you're thirsty, that can work for you. Moving Crate. With the casting of this spell, a 3-wheel 3x3x3, that's feet, wooden crate appears within 10 feet of the spellcaster. Said crate lasts until dispelled. Then we have Nimrul's Invisibility. This spell will make the recipient invisible to creatures of opposing alignments. Good versus evil, law versus chaos. And lasts until dispelled or until the recipient attacks. Then we have no trespassing. When a spellcaster uses this informational spell, he will be able to determine whether or not he is trespassing on private property. If the spellcaster is trespassing, he will feel ill at ease. He will remain this way until he is no longer trespassing. So I guess if it's not posted, that could help, I guess. Then you have Secret Message. This spell allows the spellcaster to speak and understand a language that can only be understood and spoken by the other recipients of this spell. Then you have Sense of Direction. Who has that, right? Sense of Direction makes the caster aware of the compass direction, north, south, east, or west, and allows him to follow a straight path without error. Then you have Target. The recipient of this spell is privileged with the receipt of a bullseye target. The spellcaster merely points his finger and a target appears. A saving throw of at -1 negates. Then you have Think Positive. When cast on an unsuspecting being, the creature will agree with the caster on any subject discussed. He will not give the caster anything, but he will nod his head and say yes to every topic brought up. So, there's that. The last second level spell in this book is Tibelin's Regenerating Mushroom. This spell creates a 3-foot tall mushroom which is both edible and nutritious. It tastes like any food the consumer craves and totally regenerates itself every 8 hours. So, you have your food covered. And now we're getting into third level spells, and this is a much bigger block, so I think we're just going to end with the second level spells. But there are a lot of weird spells in this book, and I've always loved this book. My favorite spell, I think it's like 4th or 5th level, but you conjure up a gnome that brings a magic cabinet with him, and inside the cabinet is a bunch of liquors and spirits, and he'll mix you a drink, give you the drink, pack up his cabinet, and leave. So you can have yourself a refreshing drink on the battlefield. So, anyway, this book would be a very good add-on to any of your OSRs. And, I mean, you might want to go through and shuffle the levels on some of these spells and pick and choose what you want. But it can really round things out if you're going with a campaign that may have a bunch of frivolous spells that the players can find. This would be a good place to look. So, thank you for joining me at looking at the first 2 levels of spells in this book. If you want to hear some more spells that are listed in this book, let me know in the comments, and we might do level 3 and 4 on the next video. I just don't want this to ramble on too long. But thank you for joining me at a look at this book, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.